Hi, this is Sue with Homestead Dreamers. I'm out here in my garden this morning, gonna give you a tour. This is my lettuce bed. And here we have curly kale from last year that's going to seed, and I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna give you a shot of the overview of the garden. There you go. Shows about 10 beds going up the side of the yard. One hugelkultur bed that I made, and I'll talk about that when I get there. This glorious thing is my strawberry bed, and it's loaded with flowers. The plants are standing right up straight and happy. I've got strawberries starting to form. I am very excited. And what I did last year was I buried the whole thing with leaves. You can see all the leaves down there. I buried it all with leaves and left it covered all winter, and in the spring they started coming up and all the healthy ones poked on through, and they are very happy, and so am I. This is my hugelkultur bed. You may remember, if you saw the pictures, that I had dug down 3 feet deep, 3 feet wide, and 8 feet long to make a hole. I filled it with pretty big chunks of logs, and then branches and twigs, then leaves, and then I covered it back up with the soil, covered that with compost, covered that with leaves, and put mulch on top, the wood chips actually, and then I planted it. And I've got carrots and eggplant and peppers all coming up in here, and we shall see if the hugelkultur does what it's supposed to do, holds the moisture, feeds from below and above. It's supposed to be better in later years, because in the beginning it might deplete the soil of some nitrogen while the wood chips decompose. But I've been giving it organic fertilizer, so that should help. This is my onion bed. These are Egyptian walking onions, which I planted a full year ago, and they went through the winter and reseeded themselves and came back. And if you're not familiar with Egyptian walking onions, they grow like a scallion. You can use these to eat, these stems, and then they also get little bulbs in the bottom like onions, and on top they form bulbettes, and these will make like 4 or 5 little bulbs on the top, and then when they get heavy they'll bend over and they'll plant themselves in the ground, and that's why they're called Egyptian walking onions, because they keep walking through your garden planting themselves. This bed, and by the way, this is a back to Eden type method I'm using with all the wood chips. This has watermelon and these heirloom tomato plants. I started them all in my greenhouse from seed, and I've got all different kinds: mortgage lifter, sweet 100s, let's see, I got them on this side too, yellow pear, Rosso, beefsteak, Amish paste. I've got zebra. I've got all different kinds. And here I have parsnips that came back from last year and are looking very happy in the wood chips. This bed I planted with broccoli and turnips, and the slugs got to them. You can see it's eaten away. So I put out little pans of beer, supposed to catch them. We'll see how that works. I only caught one last night. Maybe Blue Moon isn't their brand, I don't know, but that's what I'm trying to do there. This is my pea bed, and I think that's a carrot that came back. It's awful thick stem though, so I'm not sure. I let it be just in case it's a carrot. But anyway, there's peas in here, and I planted some cucumbers as well in there. This garden is just getting started. I've got some melons started, and here's some honeydew just coming up, and these are beets here. And as soon as I see the plants getting a little bit established, I'm going to cover them with the wood chips as well to hold all the moisture in. Cabbage that came back from last year, and beets. We'll see how they do. This is my little pear tree. This is what I optimistically call my orchard. I have a pear tree here, back there, I have a new little Granny Smith apple tree I planted. And that's a lovely cherry that gives me cherries. That's another cherry. This right here is an Asian pear I just planted. And way back by the greenhouse where that white stick is, I have another little apple tree. Winoche Early Apple, I think it's called. Trying not to jiggle when I walk because I know it's bad. And back there I have another apple tree. Okay. Now in my top bed I have pak choy, radishes, Swiss chard. There's a grapevine right there. I have another one in the back. This is my little fairy garden. And where the white posts are, I have either fruit trees or berry bushes planted. I have 5 raspberry, 3 blueberry, 2 thornless blackberry, and 2 boysenberry. This bed, I've just put corn in. I got the newspaper down. It's a new bed. Covered it with the mulch, wood chips. So I've got that going. We'll see how that does. Back here is my little cheapy greenhouse, but it's done well by me. I had a lot of peppers and tomatoes started here, plus some flowers. And I've been happy with it until I get a real one built. This only cost me $50 at Big Lots. Came with the metal shelves. Should have a vent in the top. That's been a problem. But other than that, I'm happy. Here's my potato bed. I put them in old recycling bins, and I really overplanted it, so I'm probably going to have to try to divide it out into another barrel or something. Hope I don't kill them in the meantime doing that. I have herbs here, rosemary, you know what that is. I can't think of the name of it. More mints and herbs and basils here. Yeah, it's a tray I had some flowers started in that I put out here to get acclimated. And these are 3 cups of plants I'm waiting for my daughter to pick up of green peppers and tomatoes. This is my rhubarb, one of them, doing very nicely this year. Last year they were skinny little puny things, and I let them go like you're supposed to. Rose bush coming along. This is my shed. I got a nice little shed that we put up a couple years ago. And on the other side of the shed, under the window, I have another rose bush and another rhubarb. Back here in the corner, I'm starting another compost pile. I just used up my other one. So I want to use my wood chipper and put everything through it to get it chopped up even more so it will decompose faster. I do put my kitchen scraps through the blender, so they are already pretty well cut up before they get out here. This is a little pecan tree. It's been here about 8 or 10 years. Needs a mate before it does anything. And I'll probably be sorry I planted it because it's going to get huge. And these are 2 shower doors I want to make into cold frames, so I've kind of hung on to those. There's the length of the garden over there. We only have about 9,999 square feet in our lot, so we don't have a big lot. It's under 10,000, less than a quarter acre. Got hydrangeas there and shade plants that I'm putting in near my screen porch. This is my wood chip pile. It used to come all the way out to cover that stump and just as high, so I've used a little more than half of it. And here are my boysenberry plants, that one and that one. Now, if I could figure out how to splice 2 tapes together, we should pick up with me out in the front gardens. I'll see you then. Okay, here we are out front of the house, picking up where we left off. This is my front flower bed, and you can see I live in suburbia. I'm in a suburban area with a small house and a smallish yard, less than a quarter acre, including the house part. So here I've got my front gardens I'm working on, trying to make it pretty and putting some flowers in. I raised many of them in my greenhouse. These are giant zinnias that I've got coming up. They're going to be awfully pretty when they get tall enough to bloom. But up here I have my tea and herb garden right outside my front door here. And it isn't looking too pretty yet because I've been working on it, digging it up. But the little ferny looking stuff is chamomile, and I've got that dispersed all in there. And I've got basils, and this is comfrey, which works as a medicinal plant externally, like for sore muscles and whatnot. And it makes an excellent compost additive. Makes beautiful compost. So you can add that to your compost pile. And what else have I got out here? That's another comfrey. Okay, I've got sage and caraway and thyme, savory, lamb's ear, lemon balm, fenugreek, however you say that, sweet marjoram. I got that all started. And I've got other herbs in the back which I'm going to transplant out here. This is actually a balloon flower that I didn't tear out. I just left it there. And to the side of the house, I have my blueberry bushes. So we'll take a walk up here. I'll try not to get too jittery with the camera. I had 2 cups of coffee though, I'm not promising. Don't tell my family, I'm only supposed to have 1. Okay, here's my blueberries. Alrighty, this one is already getting some blueberries on it. And there's my 3rd blueberry. Oh, and this is the first I've seen this. Looky here. This is my blackberry, my thornless blackberry. It looks great. It's got flowers coming and buds. I'm gonna have some blackberries. I'm really happy about that. This is a little baby one right there. And I've planted sunflowers all along this fence line. Not seeing that yet. I need to weed it out too. I get a lot of weeds here. But there will be sunflowers hopefully. But there's where I have some of my blueberries and black raspberry, or thornless blackberry. So that's my berry bushes. And we'll pick up in another place later, again, if I figure out how to splice these together. Bye-bye.